You know the feeling, sitting across the desk from your manager, ticking away the minutes until a number, usually from 1 to 5, is assigned to your entire year of labor. This annual corporate ritual is built on a specific, deeply ingrained theory of human behavior called positivism. For executives, this is a highly attractive concept. If you can perfectly quantify exactly how people work, you can chart their progress, predict their output, and manage their behavior down to the decimal point. Under this framework, the performance review is presented to us as a flawless scientific instrument. It acts as a perfectly calibrated scale, weighing our exact objective value to the company. This mindset gave birth to the universally accepted best practices of modern management: rigid key performance indicators, mandated continuous feedback loops, and strict numerical rating systems. By deploying these precise tools, managers pursue the ultimate operational dream: complete top-down control over how work gets done and exactly what employees do to achieve it. But anyone who has actually sat through one of these reviews knows they rarely feel scientific. In practice, the metrics often feel arbitrary, hopelessly entangled in office politics, or entirely disconnected from the reality of your daily tasks. Why do these carefully engineered, highly objective methods break down as soon as they make contact with actual employees? The scientific method requires a sterile, isolated laboratory environment to produce reliable results. Human beings do not work in a vacuum. Our efforts are immediately swallowed up by the chaotic, unpredictable realities of the workplace. Faster, more energetic. Organizational researchers approaching this problem through an interpretative lens throw out the idea of a sterile laboratory entirely. They argue that an employee's performance is inseparable from their environment. How well you do your job relies heavily on the specific culture of the company, the shifting dynamics of office politics, and your daily interactions with peers. Because human systems are inherently ambiguous and fragmented by nature, trying to isolate a single person's contribution into a solitary objective number is an impossible task. Standard metrics fail by attempting to squeeze natural human disorder into artificial, rigid boxes. When these rigid systems inevitably fall short, employees organically construct informal shadow networks, bypassing formal reviews to get the actual peer support they need. Performance is never a solitary number generated in isolation. It is a continuously shifting, negotiated social reality. If we designed a system that actually reflected this social reality, workers would take democratic ownership of their own evaluation process. In this model, employees would report on their progress based on the actual context of their daily peer interactions, rather than trying to satisfy top-down metrics handed down by management. Yet, if you look across the corporate landscape, democratic, peer-owned evaluation systems are exceedingly rare. If objective numerical evaluations are demonstrably flawed and more accurate, socially grounded alternatives exist, why are companies so fiercely committed to defending the broken model? The stubborn persistence of the standard performance review suggests that its actual purpose was never about accurate measurement at all. This brings us to a final perspective, the structuralist view. In this framework, performance management functions as a weapon. These systems operate as tools of power. They are deliberately deployed by management to maintain workplace inequality and control the labor process. Evaluations concentrate this power by ensuring that the definition of what constitutes good work remains exclusively in the hands of the people at the top of the organization. The process enforces a specific, compliant corporate identity, punishing any deviation from the required mold. The ultimate goal is internal. Workers unconsciously self-monitor, trimming their behaviors to fit the artificial identity the company demands. The performance review operates as a disciplinary technology. It manufactures a highly compliant, malleable workforce, and it does so under the protective guise of professional development. This dismantles the deeply held assumption that human resource systems are designed for the mutual benefit of both the employee and the organization. In practice, these systems heavily prioritize management's need for strict predictability, continuous output, and absolute control over genuine employee growth. We have stripped the performance review from its original presentation as an objective scientific tool, revealed it as a complex social negotiation, and finally exposed it as a naked mechanism of control. When we look closely at how performance is managed, one final question remains. Do organizations truly represent the interests of all their members?